the late 1960s, a growing peace movement suddenly takes a dark turn with the bloody murders of 7 innocent people, including actress Sharon Tate. Cult leader Charles Manson stands accused, and prosecutor Vincent Bugliosi faces the dangerous task of putting Manson behind bars. Their incredible story, next on Rivals. Hello, I'm Gerald McRaney. Prior to 1969, few Americans had heard of an obscure cult leader named Charles Manson, or an equally uncelebrated county prosecutor named Vincent Bugliosi. That changed with the barbarous slaying of actress Sharon Tate and 6 others. Blood seeped into the Hollywood Hills. A country wondered what had happened to the younger generation, and the young wondered what had happened to their summer of love. As Vincent Bugliosi unflinchingly stared into the demonic gaze of Charles Manson, what no one knew was that a critical clue to the crime lay locked in the lyrics of a Beatles album. Vincent Bugliosi would discover that, and much, much more. June 15, 1970. The trial of Charles Manson and his co-defendants opened in Los Angeles to worldwide attention. At center stage sat a psychotic killer who changed his appearance from day to day, but never his deep hatred for society.
This confusion belongs to you. It's your confusion. I don't have any confusion. I don't have any guilt. I know what I've done, and no man can judge me. I judge me. What have you done, Charlie?
No one knew what Charlie Manson might do next. The heavily guarded courtroom was tense, with good reason. And at one point, Manson leaped a table with almost supernatural force, attempting to attack the judge, and later threatened to have prosecutor Vincent Bugliosi killed. Yet in Bugliosi, Manson had met an unexpectedly worthy foe. The ambitious young prosecutor was as driven by the need to dominate the courtroom as Manson was to control his own dark world.
In my opening statement, I said that these murders were perhaps the most bizarre, savage, nightmarish murders in the recorded annals of crime. And I think that Linda Kasabian...
Like Manson, Bugliosi loved the spotlight. But it was his extraordinary commitment to protect society that set Vincent Bugliosi apart from so many other prosecutors, and made him the single greatest enemy of Charles Manson. Though from vastly different backgrounds, the two great rivals do share the same year of birth. 1934, the midst of the Great Depression. Manson is born in Cincinnati, Ohio, to a 16-year-old girl who has a strong taste for both alcohol and men. He never knows any father, taking his last name from one of his mother's many boyfriends. A drifting petty criminal in and out of jail, she alternately pampers and neglects her young son. When he's 12, she abandons him to the court, and he's assigned to the care of Catholic priests. Within a year, Charlie steals a car and commits armed robbery, and is sentenced to 3 years at the Indiana School for Boys. There, older inmates rape and abuse him until he learns how to fight back, turning his fear into violent fury. Charlie Manson's education behind bars has officially begun. Vincent Bugliosi grows up in the far more peaceful environment of Hibbing, Minnesota, where his father is a hard-working but successful grocer. The youngest child in a large family, Bugliosi shares Charlie Manson's hunger for attention. But unlike Manson, he's ingrained with a strong sense of middle American morality and has the odd habit of preaching to other children.
Growing up in a small town in Minnesota in the 30s and 40s, you just naturally knew what was right and wrong. I mean, there were no bad influences, no illicit drugs, no gangs. Crimes like burglary, robbery, murder, just almost totally alien to our existence.
A top student, Bugliosi captains his high school tennis team and attends the University of Miami on a partial tennis scholarship. It's there he meets his future wife, Gail. It's a safe, comfortable life, a life Charlie Manson can only dream about. In his 3 years at the Indiana Reformatory, Manson scales walls and cuts fences, escaping a total of 18 times. At 16, he steals a car and heads for California, hoping to find his mother. Instead, he's caught, and this time finds himself doing hard time in federal prison, where he will be punished for crimes ranging from petty theft to homosexual rape. Through prison correspondence, Manson would later get to know journalist Paul Krasner.
Well, Manson was really a Frankenstein monster created by the American prison system, and so he came out, you know, with all of the characteristics that inmates develop. Racism, paranoia, ways to do criminal things. He came out. He came out as a pimp and a drug dealer.
In 1954, Manson gets out on parole. He marries the first girl he sleeps with, a 17-year-old waitress who endures his frequent physical abuse. The next summer, he steals a car and with his pregnant wife heads again for California, where he will spend the next decade in and out of prison for stealing, forging checks, and pimping. Vincent Bugliosi, meanwhile, attends UCLA Law School, where he serves as president of his graduating class. In 1964, driven by a growing animus toward hardcore criminals, he takes a job as a Los Angeles County Deputy District Attorney. It's the first step on a road that will lead to his climactic standoff with Charles Manson. Although he celebrates the birth of his first child that same year, Bugliosi remains devoted to his job. An admitted workaholic, he's quickly promoted to trying felony jury cases.
Trying a criminal case before a jury, to me, that was the ultimate. That was where the drama was, the excitement. More was at stake. Sometimes a person's liberty, even their life.
While Bugliosi shows his promise in the courtroom, Manson is forging his own future in federal prison. He becomes an avid student of psychology-based spiritual movements. His IQ measures an impressive 121, and like Bugliosi, he exhibits exceptional verbal skills. In prison drama class, he shows a gift for altering his personality to suit his needs.
By his own admission, he said, "I'm a man of 1,000 faces." He was like a chameleon, constantly changing to fit the occasion or the person whom he was talking.
Manson spends hours in his cell writing songs and practicing on his guitar. He develops an odd fixation on one rock group in particular, the Beatles. Psychiatrists and fellow convicts alike find Manson paranoid and dangerous, a man who demonstrates a morbid fascination with violent death. In 1966, Manson serves out the final year of a 10-year prison term. That same year, Vincent Bugliosi becomes a father for the second time. But Manson, now twice married and twice divorced, is about to start his own kind of family. He'll find his converts among the flower children of the 60s counterculture. And here, Charlie Manson will plant his dark seeds of madness and mass murder.